Good morning, students. Today we are continuing with the next part of Outcomes of Democracy, Political Science, chapter number 7, Economic Growth and Development. Children, in the last class, we have done that how a democratic country is or a democratic government is accountable, responsive, and legitimate government. And we have also seen that how democracy is a better form of government than the other forms of government. Maybe democratic government is not able to fulfill all our dreams, it is not able to fulfill whatever we desire, but definitely it is a better form of government than other types of government if we compare with the dictatorship and the monarchy form of the governments. A democratic government will work for the welfare of the people because they know that there are elections after every 5 years, and if they don't work for the welfare of the society, they will not get the votes. So they are bothered about the people. That is one benefit in a democratic system of government. But in other forms of government, they are not at all bothered about the people's wishes, about the people's needs. Whether they fulfill the needs or not, they will remain in the power. So that is the basic difference or the reason that democratic form of government is a better form of government, and many countries of the world today have adopted this form of government. Maybe this form of the government is there in many of the countries, but still there is difference between one democratic form of government from a country to the another democratic form of country form of a government in the another country. So let's now today continue with the second part, that is economic growth and development. In a democratic government or in a democratic form of government in that country, we see that the economic development is slow. Do you know, children, that India and China, we started our journey of economic development together. But you can see where the China has reached today. It's much, much ahead in development than our country. So we may blame the democratic government that because it is democratic government, our country is not able to develop economically. And China is not a democratic government, so it is able to develop fast. China calls itself as democratic country, but it is not so in reality. But why the development is there much faster than our country where there is democratic government? So, if you look at the developments of the different countries' children, we will see that in a non-democratic government, wherever there is democratic government is not there, in those countries you will see development is much, much faster than a country where there is development. That is what is given here. Dictatorships have slightly higher rate of economic growth. So the countries where there is dictatorship form of government, in those countries you will see that their rate of economic growth is much higher. And you have studied in economics that how the economic growth is calculated also. For example, if one section of the society is developed, then also the total income of the country, average income of the country will show high. So in a dictator form of government, they are not bothered about the common people or the poor people. They are mainly bothered about only the rich aristocratic people. And so if the rich aristocratic people are developed, that will make the country automatically economically developed. Because that average income which you did in economics chapter, average income will not show that who is earning higher and who is earning less income. So in dictator form of government, the governments are only looking after the rich people, or the rich are very very rich over there, because of which their economic growth is very high. But in comparison to that, in democracy, higher economic development is not there. But this alone cannot be the reason to reject democracy. That's why we cannot say that we don't want democracy because there is low economic development here. Because as we did in the economics chapter, economic development depends on several factors, children. It depends on country's population size. It depends upon the global situation. How much is the population of our country? How much is the development in the different spheres, their education, their literacy rate, etc., especially their per capita income. So it depends upon all these factors also. So it's not that only in per capita income, if a country is developed, we'll call it as developed. Then cooperation from other countries, economic priorities adopted by the country, etc. However, the difference in the rates of economic development between less developed countries with dictatorship and democracies is negligible. But if you compare the economic development of these countries, their dictatorship, less developed and democratic countries, we see that there is very slight difference only, not very high difference. We cannot say that all dictatorship countries are very, very highly developed. Not again. It is again wrong to say that. So overall, we cannot say that democracy is a guarantee of economic development. We cannot say that since there is democracy in a country, there will be economic development. No, we cannot say this. But definitely, we can expect democracy not to lag behind. But definitely, we want that our country like India, which is having democracy, should not be behind any other country where there is dictatorship. That is what we want. But it is not so easy because our country has such a large population, and our government also works for the benefit of the poor people. So our per capita income may not be very high because we have a large poor population also whose income is very very low. So when we find such significant differences in the rates of economic growth between countries under dictatorship, so what we are going to conclude here, we are saying that when we compare the countries of the countries where the dictatorship is there or where the democracy is there, when we compare them, it is better to prefer democracy, children, because as it has several other positive outcomes. Maybe in a democratic country, economic growth rate is slow, but we have so many other positive outcomes which we will not find in a dictatorship country. Do you remember we have done one chapter in economics where we have compared country 1 and country 2. In country 2, we have seen that on one side there are several poor people and one person is rich. Then also their income was showing high. Their average income was showing high. In country A, also their average income is same as country B, but in country A, their average incomes are almost equal. That is the main difference between. In dictatorship country, one person may have very high income, others may be so poor, still their average income will be very high. So we prefer democracy because maybe there is low economic growth, but we have so many other factors which are positive factors, children. There is a cartoon also which is showing this about the disparities between the rich and the poor in the different countries. Cartoon on this page and the next three pages tell us about the disparities between the rich and the poor. Should the gains of economic growth be evenly distributed? How can the poor get a voice for a better share in a nation? In a dictatorship country, do you think the poor will have any voice? They will not have any voice. But yes, in a democratic country, poor have the voice. They have the chance even to change the government. If they don't want, they don't want, if they don't want that particular type of uh, political party or a government, then they can change it. So they have an opportunity. But this opportunity is not there in a dictator or in a monarchy country. What can the poor countries do to receive a greater share in the world's wealth? So a question is asked to you, what can the poor countries do to get a share, to get a share in the world's wealth? Because even the world's wealth is not equally distributed. We know that some countries like US or maybe even now China, Russia, these countries are funding more to the to the organizations like UNO. So they have more power over there. But countries like India don't have much power because we don't contribute anything to the UNO. Financial contribution I'm talking about. So you can see that how the wealth is unequally distributed. That is the cartoon all about. Economic growth and income distribution gains. So you can see rich, they have the most of the wealth, then the middle income group of people very low, and you cannot say the poor. Poorer countries have the lowest wealth of the world. They have. So like that the cartoon is showing over there. Then we have a few more cartoons over there, children. Economic outcomes of democracy. You can see here, arguments about democracy tend to be very passionate. This is how it should be, for democracy appeals to some of our deep values. These debates cannot be resolved in a simple manner, but some debates about democracy can and should be resolved by referring to some facts and figures. The debate about the economic outcomes of democracy is one such debate. Children, there will be no particular answer for this outcomes of democracy, because there are so many wishes which we want, and all cannot be fulfilled by democracy, as we discussed in the first part of the chapter, that democracy is not a person, democracy is not a wall which will fulfill everything for you. It is we the people. So it is we. Democracy will only prevail us with certain conditions which we can avail, the facilities which are given by the democracy to fulfill our dreams. So that is what is shown in the cartoon. Also you can see, children, see housing, healthcare, schooling, hunger. There are so many problems in a democracy. My goodness, little fella, how far did you fall down? The poor kid is saying, you tell me. So there are so many problems, and we keep on asking one after the other wishes. If housing is provided to all, we come with another problem of healthcare. If healthcare is provided, we say schooling. So there are so many issues in a country. Only thing is it is visible in a democratic country, which is not visible in the other forms of the government. That's the only difference between the democracy and the dictator forms of government. You can see the rates of economic growth for different countries. It's just go through it. You don't have to learn anything in the tables. It's for your general knowledge. It has been given. Inequality of income in selected countries. There is that much inequality of income. You can see how much inequality of income is there, children. Then we have types of regimes and countries, growth rate. All democratic regimes will have a less growth rate of 3.95%. Dictator regimes will have more growth rate of 4.42%. Poor countries under dictatorship 4.34%. Poor countries under democracy 4.28% of development, economic development. Again, just for your information to show that democratic countries growth rate is lower than the non-democratic countries. So that completes your economic growth and development. So we'll go through it again once more just to see if there is any question over there in this. Only if at all it is asked, they may ask you that dictatorships have slightly higher rate of economic growth. So should we adopt dictatorship or a democracy or democratic country or a democratic form of government? So that in that way they can ask you. Maybe they can change the words, but this maybe they can ask you. But your answer should be, although dictatorships have slightly higher rate of economic growth, we prefer democracy because it has several other positive outcomes. And in dictatorships, they are not bothered about the common people and poor people. Higher and the rich people have much say in the society. So their average income shows very high. But in a democratic country, the governments are equally responsible for the common people and poor people. So our average income shows less. That is why we prefer democratic form of government. That should be your answer, children, for this part. Next, reduction of inequality and poverty. Now, when we talk about inequality and poverty, we generally believe that in a democratic country, we all have equal rights. So, all are equal and there is no poverty. Can we say this, that there is no poverty and all are equal really? No. When we talk about theoretically, it is correct. But practically, when we see this, it's not the truth. We still have lot of inequality in our country. We still have lot of poverty in a democratic country like India. So perhaps more than development, it is reasonable to expect democracies to reduce economic disparities. We think that in a democratic country, all should be economically equal. That means income should be equally distributed. Even when a country achieves economic growth, will wealth be distributed in such a way that all citizens of the country will have share and lead a better life? Even if our country like India, suppose after 10 years, it is much developed, economic development is very high, then also do you think that the wealth which is there in the country will be equally distributed? That means one side Ambani and one side a poor beggar will be equally earning? Can it ever happen like this? Definitely not. So is economic growth in democracies accompanied by increased inequalities among the people? Or do democracies lead to a just distribution of goods and opportunity? Now the question is asked to you, answer is up to you. That is, inequalities are there in democracy, yes or no? Or in democracies, do you think that the goods and opportunities are provided to all the people equally? Again, answer is up to you. Democracies are, let me tell you my answer, children. Answer is no. There is no equality. There is still lot of inequality, especially economic inequality. Political equality, yes, it is there. All people are equally having the right to vote, whether a person is rich or poor. So that is political equality. But when it comes to economic equality, it is not at all there. There are several people who are starving and dying. On one side, there are so many people who are multi-millionaires in our country. So the truth is given here. Democracies are actually based on political equality. There is political equality. We have right to vote, right to contest election. This right is there in our country. All are having it. But all individuals have equal weight in electing representatives. But when we talk about economic, that is dividing of our wealth in the country, resources in the country, there is a lot of inequality. Rich are ultra rich. Ultra rich means multi-millionaires enjoying a highly disproportionate share of wealth and income. Not only that, their share in the total income of the country has been increasing. When I talk about a person like Ambani, he is a multi-millionaire. If his income doubles in the next year, our average income will show high. But you cannot call our country as developed because one side there are so many people dying of starvation, even especially during this COVID times. So those at the bottom of the society have very little to depend on. Their income have been declining. If you see now at present, so many common people have lost their jobs. There is no income. Several shops have closed down. So because of this, there is so much of loss. So many have become poor, but the rich are still becoming rich. Sometimes they find it difficult to meet their even basic needs. There are so many people on the streets who don't get even food, clothing, house, education, health, which are the minimum basic necessities of a life. So one side, even in a democracy, I'm talking to you that in a democracy, there is so much of economic inequality. So today, we don't say that we are very happy in a democratic country, everything is equal. No, only political equality is there. There is no economic equality at all. So in actual life, democracies do not appear to be very successful in reducing economic inequalities. That is what I said. Theoretically, maybe they write that in a democracy there is equality. But in practically, when we see, there is so much of inequality and democracies are not successful at all in reducing this inequality. They are not able to reduce this inequality. So the poor constitute a large proportion of our voters and no party will like to lose their votes. Yet, democratic elected governments do not appear to be as keen to address the question of poverty. You might have seen all the parties will say that the people should vote for us because their agenda is to remove poverty. Every party will say that we will remove poverty. But in actually, no, they don't even respond to the poor people when they need them. So that is what we again studied in the first part of the chapter. That is, there is so much of poor people. 3/4 of the people of the country are poor, but still they are not able to come out of the poverty because none of the governments are giving any response to them. The situation is much worse in some other countries. In our country, yes, it is a worse situation, but in some countries, the more and more worse situation. For example, in country like Bangladesh, more than half of its population lives in poverty. 50% of the people live in poverty in Bangladesh. People in several poor countries are now dependent on the rich countries even for food supplies. Go to the countries like Sumatra, Java, some of the African countries, if you go and see, though so much of poverty that they are even have to beg food resources from the rich countries. That much poverty is there in many of the countries' children. And I like this cartoon very much, which is shown in this page. Go through this cartoon. It's a very, very nice cartoon. The cartoon says, Voice of the Poor. That is, just before elections, you will see that all the parties will go to the poor people, ask the vote saying that we will remove poverty. But later on, they don't have any voice. They are not heard. They don't have any voice means they are not heard by any government. That is also one way we say that it's lacking in a democratic form of government. In a democratic form of government, only political equality is there. There is no economic equality. This is the situation. You can see this, children. If you remember in 9th class, I used to give this example. If there is a big pizza, just imagine a big pizza and a small portion of pizza is given to maybe 10 children. The small portion of pizza is given to maybe 10 children, and rest of the whole pizza is given to one child. What do we call this as? This is unequal distribution, children. So the large number of poor people in the country get a small amount of the resources and a small amount of rich people. Rich people are only maybe 2%, 5%, 10% of the rich people in the country, in any country, and they get large amount of the resources of the world. So that is the unequal distribution of the resources or the money, whatever it is, money or the economic resources are unequally distributed in our country and even in the world also. So that completes another part of the chapter, children. That is, in a democratic country, there is definitely lot of inequality and also lot of poverty still existing. You can give even a country like India's example here. That is, democracy is not able to reduce inequality and poverty, although there is political equality. That's all, children, for today, because in the next class we will start with the accommodation of social diversity, and there are lots of cartoons which we need to discuss along with the chapter. That's all, children. Go through the chapter this much and have a good day.